So there's a lot of confusion on this whole legislation that's been in place by Joe Biden's executive order on gun control. This bill is a long bill. It's ridiculous amounts of words to read. It's language in there that you'll never understand. There's language in there that insinuates things that really just don't even make sense. The problem with that is most other senators and people and House representatives who will read that, your representatives, your state representatives who will vote on this bill, won't read the entire thing and vote on it. So, call these people, call your state representatives, and make sure they read these bills. Because, we already have so many restrictions. Joe Biden's restrictions on pistol braces. Well, they make the gun more lethal. They make it more accurate. That's the point. I didn't buy the gun so I could be less accurate. Because that actually makes it safer. So I'm not just, what does he want? You just go, no scope, nothing? What's next? This bill is a bill in infringing on your rights. It's to infringe on parts of firearms. Go after the parts first. Let's go after the little parts and then the big fish, They're just continuing to take. Nothing in any of these bills or any of this gun legislation has any proof that it's going to stop mass shootings or gun violence in any way, shape, or form. There is no proof behind it. None. There's no numbers behind it. The ATF or AFT or whatever he calls it
knows AFT well.
Has no proof or data to back that up. It's essentially untrue. Everything he's saying is untrue. And now he wants to implement a federal red flag law, which 19 states already have red flag laws. In case you guys don't understand what a red flag law is. A red flag law will be anybody, like your neighbor. Your neighbor notices maybe, you and your neighbor get in an argument. He knows you have a gun. He can call and you lose your guns. Or your doctor. Your doctor says, he's been a little weird, he wrote a bad comment about my practice on Yelp or something. And that doctor calls and deems you unfit to carry firearms, you lose your right to bear arms. That is a complete violation of due process. Because without any legal, going to court, you got convicted felons who lose their right to bear arms because they went through due process. They got caught, whatever, they did something bad, they committed a felony, they lose their right to bear arms. People who beat women lose their right to bear arms. People who harm children lose their right to bear arms. They go through a due process. Their neighbor just doesn't call and go, Now, there is no red flag law that has ever stopped a mass shooting. And there will never be one. Because there continue to happen. People are going to continue to be evil. And the whole argument with the pistol, it just makes no sense. It's mind-boggling to me that people don't understand this. It doesn't matter what side of the political spectrum you land on. It's a basic violation of human rights and due process. It's borderline, it's not even borderline bullshit. Every word that he spews out of his stupid mouth is absolute shit. The gun show thing, I said this in my last video, the gun show thing just drives me out of my mind. It's like he makes it seem like, if you just go to a gun show and buy a gun illegally. I can promise you at a 100% guarantee, anybody who's watching this video, you go to a gun show, you're going to get a background check. It is nonsense to insinuate the idea that you can go to a gun show and just buy a gun without getting a background check. That is crazy false. And the fact that YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and whoever, Google, is promoting the speech where he's literally lying to you. There is no such thing as going to a gun show and buying a gun without a background check, because the people who are selling you guns at the gun show are vendors, and they're required by law to run a federal background check on you through the FBI database. That happens. Now, a private sale between citizens is different, but that's not what happens with people who legally own guns. It just doesn't. I just wanted to make sure people understand what this red flag law is, because, you got these liberals, red flag laws. Well, it's a violation of human rights and due process. So if you're for legal action and the Constitution and, all these things that you say you're for, then it doesn't matter what side of the political spectrum you land on. Anybody with a sensible brain can realize that this is a violation of your constitutional rights as an American. And that's all I got. I mean, this is so plain and simple in your face. We can't allow them to take the kit guns. And I said in there, oh, it's not that big of a deal. It's a pretty big deal because, you know, let me go back on what I said. It's a pretty big deal because it's starting at the small fish. They're just trying to get rid of parts. Oh, I just want these kit guns. What they're talking about is parts. They're trying to ban parts. You can't get an RMR sight. You can't get a knife sight. You can't get a pistol brace. You can't get a drum. You can't get a 30-round mag for your Glock. You can't get anything that'll make it more lethal or accurate. But I thought the idea was to be more accurate and lethal, because when you look at the actual numbers, guns, as far as death occurs with violence, and guns that are used for defense are two very large numbers that are very far apart. In other words, because that probably made no sense to anyone, guns protect far more people than they do kill, and that is a fact. That is not just some random shit that I pulled out of the back of my head. You can research it yourself, though, you know, if you're here you probably will, but if you're some asshole liberal, you're probably not going to waste your time, because everything you do has to be completely right, and you know, it just makes no sense to me. So do your research on these things, call your representatives, make sure that they're reading these bills, because, you know, they're, oh, but just sign it, you know, it's too long for me, I don't want to waste my time, it's just a stupid kit part. Oh, next is a kit part, next is our, you know, extensions and or night sights, or, you know, next is pistols. It's just going to go on and go on until they just completely get rid of the Second Amendment. And I think that having a president like this who even takes action like this and puts these kind of words out that are very manipulative, very untrue. I mean, where are the fact checkers here that are like, no, actually you can't go to a gun show and buy a gun illegally? No one's doing. Like, somebody call, hey man, I need a gun. Oh, you do? What do you need? I need a Glock 17. Oh, I got a Glock 17. Well, I'm a felon. Oh man, I can't sell you that, dude. Sorry, you're a felon, or you have assault battery, you have a misdemeanor, whatever. I can't sell you. You have any kind of criminal. I'm sorry, man, I can't sell you. But hey, you know what you can do? Just go to the gun show. They'll take care of you. That's not what happens. That doesn't happen. It's false. It's complete bullshit. So that's what I got. That's my video. I just wanted to follow up on a couple of things because, you know, it's important, guys. This is important things, right? So anyway, that's it. Like, share, subscribe. This is actually just supposed to be a patron video, so this is a little taste of patrons. This is what the patrons get to see, this kind of stuff. So every now and again I'll put stuff just that it's just intended for patron out on YouTube, so you guys can see what it's like to be a patron member when you pay the, you know, for the $3 or whatever. So like, share, subscribe. Patreon link will be below if you want to check that out. Have a good week. I love you all. Peace.